Hello everyone, this is Lawrence. My third video today, and this is kind of a last minute one as a response to or challenge, whatever you want to call it, to the Vinyl Guru video on album covers that are black, and she expanded it on her second video to include albums that aren't all totally black with some information on it, but you could include a little artwork. The way I take it, as long as the black is kind of the main focus of the artwork. And this is really really good because this goes into album art, which I've always been interested in. Okay, so since she expanded what we can do, I picked a slew of albums out, and I'm going to show them. And I'm going to try to make this video, I'll say 10 minutes, it'll probably be 3 hours, but just going to get to the point. And I got an assortment of albums of jazz, popular music, and even a country album. So the first ones I'm going to show, they're still in the album frame because I pulled them out of the wall in my vinyl room. So you're going to have the glare, and I've learned to display them without the where you can see everything in the room, where it ricochets back. But this first one is one of the most renowned, famous jazz vocalists of all time, and this is really a special album cover to me because it's a profile shot of her, and her music was very intense, very poetic, and she had a really hard life and kind of lived the songs she sang, so the emotion was very genuine. But this is a really cool album cover. It's a compilation, or her recordings in the 1940s, later in her career, when she signed to like Decca, or was on that label. And by then, because her voice had weathered and through years of hard living, she had a sort of a I don't know, more of a kind of a gravelly voice, which I love. It had been weathered. It's not the nice sweet, but it had matured, like fine wine. There we are, displaying it without much of that. Okay. Billie Holiday, the Billie Holiday story. I mean, look at that cover, the profile, and there's just enough light on her face. You could see the front part of it in the profile, and a piece of jewelry there. I guess it's an earring, and then the look on her face against that black backdrop. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful. Another artist, she didn't do jazz, she did more cabaret type of music, and she is one of my favorite vocalists of all time. She's the little sparrow, they call her. Sparrows are black. And look at that. Again, a full frontal face this time, but showing emotions in it. Like she's feeling the emotions of the songs. And Edith had a great voice. So if you haven't heard any of her music, I recommend that you go listen to her. She also is famous for her black outfits, dark outfits, which she wore, and when she sang, she used a lot of hand expressions, you know, like that. You can go and view some of her live videos too. The picture quality is not all that great, but you can see her movement with the hands as she sang. The last one that's in the frame is a more recent release, and I did a spotlight video on this album recently, and they kind of picked up the idea of the Bowie album, Heroes. And this came out in 2018, Ruins. The First Aid Kit, The Two Sisters. This is a wonderful album. I describe their music as like a modern day female version of the Everly Brothers. Their vocals just harmonize so well together. Okay, we're going to go quickly because I did a little explaining on those ones. So again, I'm kind of using the theme of it has to be a black backdrop that's important to the artwork, the art concept of the album. Okay, and then you have the other things, and they all tie in. This is Paul Simon's next to last studio, well, third studio album back from his last album. It's still in the plastic there. I'll take it out so you can see. Paul Simon, So Beautiful, So What? Isn't that cool? And you have that, looks like, you know, in science, the DNA thing. Cool. This is a great album, by the way. I've enjoyed Paul Simon's later day work as well, too. I'm sure you all seen this one. Ooh, album almost fell out. I don't want this one to fall out. The Beatles' Past Masters, all of their stuff that were singles or did not appear on albums, Past Masters. So you know, you got the big Beatle logo in white against the black. That's cool. Beatles used the black background again for this album, Let It Be. This has some road miles, many road miles on it. There's one more Beatle album, but it's in the back there. And we're going on to something new. This artist, I'm absolutely goo-goo about, Wild. And I probably will butcher his last name, but Michael, I'm just going to let you read the name. This was released last fall, and it is stunning. It has the black backdrop too, backside, and I did a little video on this on the Michael's album. It's a modern day masterpiece, and I would kind of relate it with the Marvin Gaye's classic album, What's Going On. Speaking of Beatles, as they went on to do solo work, we got George Harrison, Living in the Material World, and I was able to pick this up at Barnes & Noble when they had 50% off, and although I always liked this album, it was still in the shadow of All Things Must Pass, and I gained a deeper appreciation for it as I heard it on vinyl. It is magnificent. Maybe it didn't have as many grandiose songs, but the playing and George's slide work is great. Alabama Shake, Sound and Color, that's cool. Love Alabama Shakes. I love Brittany Howard. This is kind of interesting. What year did this come out? My glasses are hiding. I will look that up real quick. Ooh, for a minute there I didn't think I hit the record button. I hate to start all over. The year 1976-77, and the band Island, and the profile of the band members there, kind of a black side on the side, then the beautiful sunset, and then black again with the title of the album title and the band's name. I always thought this would have made a great later day Beach Boy cover if they have done that, because by then the Beach Boys members have gotten beards and they look more like a band from the 70s, except for some of the clothes. Joan Arbitrating, her first album, backdrop there, beautiful, and also on the back side the theme too. Okay, let me stack these so they don't fall over. I think this is the last one of the Beatles. This is the mono release of with the Beatles there, and I still got the receipt right there. Black, and then the light hit their faces like half moon. And this was really interesting because instead of just the publicity department, whatever, just picking a photo to put on the album, this was actually some artistical ideas went into this, which was pioneer for its day. Phil Collins, No Jacket Required, a red face Phil there with the black background. And looking at these and selecting them, it made me realize just how much black was used, not only as part of the album cover, but as a concept or idea. Let's put the black in and other things, so the black is part of the artwork. Eric Clapton, Just One Night, very cool. And I meant to get the Springsteen live album because that's black background too, but I'm sure you all seen that. J. Kyle's Bloodshot. Lady Soul presented a Grand Funk album, and she did this one here, and of course black there on there. But I also have this one. This is a great album because this is a collection from '69 to '71 when they were just a three-man band, and I always liked three-man band, like the Police, Cream. Now there's others I can't think of offhand, because you just got three musicians going at it, very minimalistic. This Fix album, it's cool, black there, and then inside the room's kind of dark with like a brownish color, and it goes into the black, and then the hands with the fingernails. And we're going into some jazz albums now. I know you're going to, when you see this, you're going to know what it will remind you of, but this is a CTI, which was a big jazz label. A lot of people played on it, and they were known for their good, high quality pressings. Bob James, what is this called? Yes, Grover Washington. I got a sneeze coming on. Excuse me. No, I'm not. I don't have the virus. I just cut the grass prior. I got a little bit of hay fever this time of year. Al Hirt. I love Al Hirt. Think about Al Hirt in jazz. He wasn't the most innovative player, but boy, he could pull amazing stuff out of his horns. And I like his more New Orleans, jazzy type of stuff, where later he got more commercial. But this is, he's the king, Hurt in his band. This is cool. This is the dog in the gramophone there, RCA. This is interesting. Impulse was a big jazz label. They had people like John Coltrane, Coleman Hawkins, Sonny Stitt, Sonny Rollins, Ben Weber, John Coltrane, Lester Young, Charlie Parker. This is a 3-album set with gatefold. It comes out this way. It's tattered. I got this at the thrift store, but the vinyl is very playable. It has all this information, and it's kind of a collection. It's called The Saxophone, a critical analysis guide to the major trends in the development of the contemporary saxophone tradition. Isn't that cool? And it's 3 discs there. This is a live album, early 70s, no, late 70s, 77, the Quintet. And it has Ron Carter, bass, Herbie Hancock, keyboards, Freddie Herbert, horns, Wayne Shorter, horns. I can't name what kind of horn instrument they're playing, and Tony Williams, drums. This is cool, and these jazz albums, I throughout the years, I found them at thrift stores for like $1, $2, and sometimes $3. The thrift stores starting to get wise and priced up jazz albums in recent years because they finally realized, hey, they're in demand too, Bossa Nova jazz, black background, and the I don't know what kind of art you would call that. I'm not a expert in art, but this is the has the famous track, "The Girl from" I gotta mispronounce this. Ipanema. Okay. This album was a huge seller. It won many awards, the Grammys. Here's a recent Willie Nelson album I haven't opened yet. It was the 50% clearance at Barnes & Noble, God's Problem Child. And this is a very renowned album. And the thing about Willie, I mean, he's in his 80s, but he's still making good albums, and I have albums of Willie Nelson, but nothing recent, so this is good. Do I look like Willie? I'm going to do a video opening of this one. Okay, getting into what I call the classic vocal areas, the Frank Sinatra's, the Tony Bennett's, and the Perry Como. Look at that. That's really cool. Perry on the stool with a decorative music stand and with some sheet music and things to sing to me, Mr. C. And I absolutely love Perry Como's vocals. Very, very laid back, smooth, and he can do. I like him when he does up-tempo stuff too. Of course, you can't go into the classic vocal area without bringing up good old Frank. There, this is the best of. I got a lot of Frank Sinatra albums when I started hitting thrift stores. they had a lot of his albums in the rack, so I brought them up, and I have a huge collection of Frank on CD as well. So this has the black round on right here. He's wearing the black suit and hat. There you go, Frank, good old Frank. This album cover is very cool. We're back into the jazz again. Wes Montgomery was one of the most renowned jazz players ever, and this album is just cool. It's sophisticated. Check that out. Check that out. He even has a cigarette there, you know. And sadly, he died early, young, like 43, of a heart attack, you know, and I don't think the smoking helped. But gatefold, and there you go. This cover is just magnificent, very cool. Here's another one that's on the CTI label again. George Benson, when he was on that label before he went to Warner Brothers and became commercially successful with the Breezin' album and a series of follow-up albums. They say Breezing album brought jazz back to big sales again. It really helped. George Benson, Bad Benson. This is called Basie's Reunions. These are, isn't that a great picture? Because that really shows brotherhood, camaraderie with musicians, you know, that they're all together, and you know, they're out on a mission to create great music, a brotherhood of music. Okay, and this is recordings made in the 1950s. Now, Basie's not on this album, but his spirit is. His band members, all his band members at reunion, and this is it's a double album too, gatefold with lots of good information. I love the old liner notes. I wish they would bring them back. Herbert Laws, who's a jazz flutist, check that out. Looks like they're on some kind of planet with its moon. This is called Morningstar. That's really cool. And these jazz albums are great if you have to be up in the early AM hours of the morning, you know, you can't sleep or something, and you just want to kick back and listen to some great jazz. And it's nighttime, everyone's asleep. Most people in the world where you're at, where it's night, are asleep. And it's just, those hours has a certain aurora to them, to that time of the 24-hour period, you know, nighttime, you know, 12:30 to about 5 o'clock, you know, AM hours. And I like to be up during those hours, but the way I keep my schedule now, I'm often not. But when I am up, I'll slip on some jazz, you know, during those hours. Put this one here. Herbert Laws. This is a live concert, early 70s. Okay, and he brings in a huge huge orchestra of violins, viola, cellos, string bass, harp, French horn, trumpet, trombones. And with jazz, you see, jazz is primarily an instrumental art form. I mean, there is the vocal side of it. Um, and instead of like 5 or 6 songs on each side, it's often the case there could be only one, 2 or 3 songs on each side. Sometimes one piece can be just one side, a title. So there's 4 pieces on here, and what's so cool about jazz, a couple of things, and I made a separate video on jazz just a few weeks ago, a week ago or so, for a friend. With jazz, the musicians don't have to burn on the first few notes, like in rock. They can kind of let it simmer. Put the gas on, put the water in the pan, and kind of go slowly. And as the time goes by, the water heats up, and then it gets to a boiling point. Also in jazz, they allow each player, like bass, saxophone, pianist, keyboardist, and drummer to kind of step to the spotlight and shine for a minute with their solos. So that's very cool. Well, the last one, and I've got more. I probably could make another video. Les McCain Invitations to Openness. What a title there. This is a promotional promotional sticker, and the cover's been through the mail, but I don't buy any albums at thrift stores unless they're in playable condition. Playable means, they could still have their little surface noise and all that, but I don't want big clicks and pops. So if you see a scratch on a piece of vinyl at a thrift store, if you run your finger across it, if you can't feel it, then you won't hear it, because that means it didn't go deep into the grooves. When it goes into the grooves, you can hear it, So, and some of these thrift store purchases, I mean, sure, there's some surface noise, but it's not ignoring. This album here is great. And these jazz albums, they have great liner notes and credits and all that. So, we've kind of expanded on the Vinyl Guru's theme, because there's only so many albums out there that are totally black. So this one was just to show albums that, black is the big backdrop and important part of the art, and inwards you have other elements of artwork. Okay, I guess that's the best way I can describe it. In the next coming days, I'm going to make some more videos, vinyl videos, and I'm very happy to watch 2 people, Lady Soul and the Vinyl Guru, and all of you too. But those 2 are recent ones, people in the vinyl community I found, and I really dig their videos. And the Vinyl Guru, she has a way of, just talking and all that. She could go into show business. She could be like a famous talk show host, Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please leave a comment. Just one thing, I have a crappy, well, it's not crappy, it's just old technology. I got it in 2011, a nice gift from my wife, a Sony camcorder. The newer stuff has clearer pictures, so it's nighttime too, so I'm not getting as much light in here. The more light I can get in, the better. So I'm just using the lights that I have in the room here and putting on me. So there's some, blurriness. It kind of looks like a hostage video. So my apologies for that. And I'm trying to do videos with my smartphone, but I haven't figured out how to put them on YouTube yet. Thank you very much for watching, and you take care of yourself out there. It's very scary times, both health-wise and economically. So, do the best you can. Praying for you. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye.